It's day 7 of our 15-day cruise aboard Viking Mars, and I'm going to give you an update that's coming up right now. Hey cruisers, welcome back to Cruise Report. We are on Viking Mars. Today we're in Copenhagen. I'm actually sitting in our stateroom in front of the window, the balcony window, just to get some natural light. Anyway, I wanted to update you. In my last video, I gave you kind of a brief overview of days 1 through 3. And I'll remind you again, I'm going to do a complete review of the ship. A complete review of the dining and of the entertainment and all of the other venues on board the ship. We'll do that once we return back after we've completed the cruise. But today I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what we've done the last, well, not the last 4 days, but I am going to go through days 4, 5, and 6 just to kind of let you know where we are. So our 4th day on the ship was a day at sea, and it's actually the only day at sea we have on this particular cruise. So it's a pretty ambitious itinerary. They have some, you're in a different port nearly every day. There's a couple of ports where they overnight, or at least one. I know we do in Oslo. We had a day at sea on the 4th day. By the way, it's been a very smooth sailing. We're not that far away, port to port. We're pretty close to each port. And so that makes it much smoother because the ship doesn't have to go very fast. And the seas have been calm, so that helps. So it's been a very nice, comfortable trip from that perspective. We only felt a little motion one day, and it was very minimal. By the way, I have some notes here just because I'm old. I can't remember everything. So excuse me while I glance at my notes. We did, on the day at sea, we did decide to do something we've never done before. We had room service breakfast. We ordered using the card we put on the door the night before. They delivered it right on time. We weren't able to eat out on the balcony like we had hoped. They have a really nice big table out on the balcony, perfect for breakfast or any meal, I guess. But it was just too cold and a little windy out, so we decided just to have it in the stateroom. There is a coffee table. It's kind of a narrow oval shape. It's not really conducive to dining inside the stateroom, and they don't have any other setup. They don't have like a board or a table that goes on top of this. It's just you have to eat on this oval table, and it's you can do it, but you have to kind of sit next to each other when you eat. So for in-room dining, I wouldn't say that this is the best setup I've seen. But the good news is the food was good. It was warm. I wouldn't say it was hot. I had a ham and cheese omelet, and it was very good. Ricky had a pancake, and it was huge. It was the biggest pancake she's ever seen. It must have been an inch thick. She ordered extra syrup, and they brought it. The coffee was very good. It was hot. So it was a good breakfast for in-room dining, for room service. I'd give it probably an A-, I guess. That evening, they had a show in the theater, and it was a musical variety performance. And this is where they kind of featured every one of the 18 performers that they have on board. I was actually surprised that they had 18 performers. There are no dancers on board the ship on this cruise. There's no adagio dancers or production show dancers. It's all vocalists, and they're all very good. So we were very, very impressed with the quality of the performances. They also have a Viking band. It's like a 4-piece, 5-piece band. Very good backup music. There's some taped backup music as well, but the band does a good job. Technical part's good, the sound quality's good, the theater's comfortable. So we've been pretty impressed with the entertainment on board. Much better, I think, than you would expect on a ship of this size. I wouldn't say it's not at the level of a Royal Caribbean ship or an NCL or anything like that, but it's still pretty impressive given what they have to work with, and all the vocalists have been exceptional. I have my Coke. They are on Team Coke on Viking, so if you're on Team Coke, let me know in the comments down below. If you're on Team Pepsi, that's okay too, but they have Coke products on Viking. Now, on the next day, we were in Gdansk, Poland, and this was our first time. We've never been to Poland before. We've never been to Gdansk, obviously, since we've never been to Poland. And this was the first tour that we did where they required us to use the quiet vox, the little communicators that you put the thing in your ear, and the tour guide can talk through the microphone and you can hear what he's saying. It's a very good system. In fact, the first time I ever remember using this was on a Viking river cruise, probably, I don't know, 17, 18 years ago. I think they kind of pioneered the use of these things. And now almost all the companies use them. Back in the day, when you used to go on a tour back in the 90s, you'd go somewhere like Florence and you'd have thousands of people on 25 different tours with different cruise lines, and the tour guides are literally yelling over each other, and you're trying to hear your tour guide and what he's trying to say. So these little quiet voxes make all that unnecessary. In fact, most ports now require that they use them. So it was that made it better. The downside to our tour in Gdansk was that we had to, and let's see, the name of the tour was the City of Gdansk on Foot. I'm pointing that out to you because if you're on this trip and you're looking to book excursions, I'm going to give you some ideas and tips and let you know whether or not we think it's a good excursion. This is one of the included excursions, so you don't have to pay extra for this. And the downside was, in our particular case, is they combined two tour groups, and they normally keep about 20 to 25 people per group maximum. But since apparently one of the tour guides didn't show up, or I don't know what the reason was, but they combined two different groups into our group. So there were 50 people on our tour. That meant the tour bus was packed. It was full of people. There was not one empty seat on our bus. In days where we're just coming out of this whole idea of social distancing, it actually felt a little uncomfortable, and I was actually kind of surprised Viking handled it that way, but I don't guess they felt like they had a choice given the situation. The other problem was, with that many people on the tour, it was very hard for the tour guide to keep the pace. For example, during the tour, he would ask, does anybody have a question? Well, with 50 people, he might get 3 or 4 questions instead of just 1 or 2, which meant that took twice as long to handle those types of questions, which meant it slowed down the tour. And I'm not sure if we got to see everything we would have seen had we not had 50 people. There was one point in the tour where we were supposed to do an amber demonstration. Everybody went in, and it was also a bathroom break, and everybody went into this little local amber store for the demonstration. Well, there's no way this store could hold 50 people. It just wasn't designed to hold that many people. So we just stayed outside to let everybody else go in. And same with the bathroom break. When you have a bathroom break with 50 people, it takes twice as long as it does with 25 people. So, it's not something that's probably would happen to you if you're on this tour, but I'm just pointing that out, that did happen to us. The tour itself was pretty good, I think. Gdansk is worth seeing. It's worth seeing on foot. If you do an early morning tour, you'd have enough time to get back and probably do a second tour in the afternoon. You could also do this on your own. They have a shuttle service with a shuttle bus that drops you off right next to where our tour took place. So you could easily do this on your own. You don't really need to go with the group if you're comfortable, walking through a foreign city on your own. They do have their own currency in Gdansk or in Poland, but you can always use credit cards. And I think there's even some places that might have taken euro, but you can always use credit cards. So in fact, I think we bought a magnet from a souvenir shop, and I think he actually accepted euro. So a lot of times you can get by with euro. So the tour takes you through the Green Gate which is kind of the entrance into this large pedestrian street. It's kind of the main tourist street, you might say, in Gdansk, where the town hall with the big clock tower. You could see all the, like, Neptune's fountain, which is kind of famous, iconic place. Lots of shops, lots of cafes. It's very easy to walk around. Everybody that we encountered in the tourist area speaks some English, so enough to get by. I don't think you'll have any trouble with that. So I think it's a city you could do on your own pretty easily if you stick to this area, and the shuttle makes it easy to do that. When we got back to the ship that evening, we went to the Explorers Bar for sail away. It was a very nice sail away, by the way. We had a cocktail before going to dinner. We're enjoying the Silver Spirits package. We're taking full advantage of it. And I think Viking has one of the most generous beverage packages of any cruise line that we've sailed on. It's nice to just be able to order a cocktail, not have to think about it, don't have to worry about the price. We haven't ordered anything that's not within their maximum price anyway. After we did sail away, we had dinner reservations that night at the chef's table. And the chef's table is one of the 2 alternate dining venues on Viking Mars, or on all Viking Ocean ships, and it is a tasting menu concept. So the menu is preset. You don't choose what you want. Everybody gets the same thing. Now there are some alternates. So if there's something on the menu you can't eat, they do have alternative dishes that you can substitute, but pretty much it's a set menu. And it's also paired with a wine with each course. Now it's a 4-course meal, and you get a different wine with each course. And if you have the Silver Spirits package, you actually get an upgraded wine pairing. You get a little better quality wines, which we had. Excellent meal. We had the, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Xiang, Xiang. It was a Chinese menu. It's the first time we've had that at the chef's table. We've been at the chef's table several times on different cruise ships, but not with this menu. And I think it's one of my favorites. It was very, very good. I'll do a more thorough review of this later on, as we talked about in the last video, but we really enjoyed our meal at the chef's table. We will be having the chef's table one more time with the California cuisine menu. So make sure you watched our dining review if you want to hear about the Zhang menu and the California cuisine menu. And that takes us to day 6. We were in Bornholm, Denmark. This, just like Gdansk, this is the first time we've ever been to Bornholm. Bornholm is a small island off the coast of Denmark, and the capital city is Røn. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly because it has one of those weird O's with a slash through it, but I'm going to call it Røn. And that's the capital city. We signed up for the Scenic Bornholm excursion, which was another one of Viking's included excursions. And this is basically a coach tour. It's not a walking tour. You did not have to have the quiet boxes. It was get on the motor coach and pretty much sit and listen to the local tour guide. So the Scenic Bornholm tour was really kind of a coastal highway tour. It just kind of takes you around the island. It's not a very big island, obviously. And I think it took a couple hours. I don't know if I recommend this excursion. I think this is the weakest one we've done so far. The only stop was at like a historic church. It was an ABC, we call them ABC tours, another beautiful church or another beautiful cathedral. You know, we've seen so many churches and cathedrals throughout Europe, you know, it's just kind of mind-numbing after a while. But it was an opportunity for a bathroom break and to stop and walk around the grounds of this church. I'm not even sure if you could go inside. We did not. We stopped and walked around the church, and the most exciting thing on the whole excursion was, unfortunately, there was a bicycle car accident and the ambulances came. So that was kind of the thrill of the tour. So it was, you know, it was okay if you just like to sit on a bus for a couple hours and ride around an island, but I think there's probably better options available. You can also, again, you have a free shuttle service that Viking provides that takes you into Røn, and you could just go into town and do it on your own. One thing we did miss is we didn't really have an opportunity to get any souvenirs. And we were hoping to get a refrigerator magnet in Bornholm or Rhone, and there was no opportunity to do that, unfortunately, so we kind of missed out on that. And when we got back to the ship that night, we had dinner at the restaurant. Now, this is their main dining venue, kind of like what you would call, like you'd call main dining on any other cruise ship. I'd say it's a step above in some respects. It's really well done. We were surprised. We don't usually eat in the restaurant that often for some reason, but we got a great table. We got there early enough to where we got a table for two at the very, very back of the ship next to a window. And it was a little close, but not too close to a big table of like 12 people. The food was exceptional. Our waitress recommended certain dishes. I tried a couple of things she recommended. It was very good. Everything was prepared well. Not a lot of time in between courses. So we highly recommend the restaurant. I think we had a good experience. Sure, we'll try it again before the end of the cruise so that we can review it thoroughly. And we didn't even go to a show that night. I think we just relaxed and took in a little bit at the atrium, maybe had a cocktail after dinner. And that's day 4 through 6. Now in my next video, I'm going to talk to you about our visit to Berlin. That was yesterday, and it was pretty interesting visit in Berlin. Got some real good tips for you if you plan to take this cruise or take a Viking cruise that visits Berlin. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Click that subscribe button. Don't forget to click the notification bell, because that way YouTube will let you know when that video comes out. And if you liked this video, make sure to click that like button. That really does help our channel. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next Cruise Report.